Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm super excited because we are going to be installing these brand new BC Racing coilovers. So let's unbox these. And the front strut, look at that. That is beautiful. Okay, so starting over here, we got the rear springs and the height adjusters. Don't really know what these things are. We'll figure that out. These are some kind of links, sway bar maybe. We got the rear struts here and the front struts and some accessories. These things look crazy. All right, I went ahead and measured from ground to fender and lip to fender, and now we're gonna jack it up and get going on the install. Okay, it's been like 2 weeks now, almost 3 maybe, since I started this install, and it was my first time doing coilovers, so it took me, I didn't realize how long it was gonna take me, doing it mostly alone, and it was a bit of a pain. So I got almost everything done, but there were some delays with the smoke in the air too from the fires and whatnot, and then check this out. I had initially put this plate on like not the right way. It was like fake going that way instead of that way. And while I was putting it back on, I just kind of wasn't paying attention, and I didn't torque it to spec right away, and that kind of happened. So then I had to wait a week for a new one of these to come in. I wanted to make sure I had all of it perfectly good, including that new bolt, which we have here now. Got 3 of them, so now we can break more of them. And yeah, wanted to make sure everything was good before we go ahead with the alignment. And so we're gonna go ahead and fix that bolt. It should, in theory, you can just push it out and then you can pop the new one back in. And I also need to adjust the back left because it's a little higher than the rest. So I'm gonna do that and I'll be back. We have officially arrived at the final product. All 4 corners are about at the same equal height between the fender and the lip of the wheel here, and that's about it's like 3 inches and 3/8, and at the start they were all at about 4 inches and 3/8 roughly. So we dropped all 4 corners about 1 inch. I think it looks pretty good. It's nothing too aggressive, but I wasn't going for anything too aggressive. I mainly just wanted to like the handling performance difference with the coilovers. So now we'll go for a drive. Near the end of the video, I'll talk about any struggles or tips or tricks that I learned for any other people who are doing this for their first time. So if you're interested in that, stick around to near the end. But yeah, let's go for a drive and talk about them. All right, so I just got back from driving around. Unfortunately, I don't really have a setup that allows me to record while I'm driving without me just holding the phone, which is a little difficult and probably unsafe. So I'll work up to that, but so subscribe, help me out with that, and we'll get a setup going. But after some like back roads and highway driving, the first thing, like ride quality, when you're hitting bumps, it's like on stock, you kind of just like sunk into the bumps. On these BC coilovers, this might just be the the dampening I have, which is just 15 in the front and rear. It's halfway in between, but you do kind of like jump a little. It's not bad by any means. Like, it's not uncomfortable, but some big bumps you will just like drop, which I'm assuming is normal. This is my first time with coilover, so don't know, but I assume so. A big thing I notice is being stage 3, when you're building boost in this car, it'll squat a lot. Like the rear will go down, and that doesn't really happen anymore. I guess just because everything's stiffer, you don't really notice that at all, which in turn, maybe I'm making this up, but the throttle feels a little more responsive because you're not like waiting for the car to like load up into the power. You're just kind of like gone, but if that makes sense. So there's that. Handling, like going around turns, it's definitely better. I was hoping for more, like I was hoping for less roll when you're going around the turns, but maybe I need to get some sway bars for that, or just stiffen up the dampening. But it is an improvement for sure over stock. Since the suspension is stiffer, you will notice, at least I do, because I already have some, like more rattling, like a little. It's nothing crazy, but it just kind of made all the rattles I already have a little bit louder, which is what it is. But I guess that just kind of comes with the coilovers. Definitely looks really good with about 1 inch drop. I plan on getting some new wheels. Plan on getting 8.5, maybe 9. So that should like bring it out to a bit more of a flush fitment, and that'll probably close the fender gap a little more as well. Overall, I was looking for something that was going to be comfortable to daily drive, because that's mostly what I'm doing with. That was also able to drop it a little bit, like lower it, and have better handling. And I feel like it hit all those spots. You could definitely daily drive with these. They're not uncomfortable by any means, but they are stiffer than the stock suspension, obviously. So yeah, overall, I definitely happy with them. I haven't driven on any other coilovers or lowering springs, so I can't really compare anything to these. But hopefully these ride better than like some Racelands or whatever else is in like the budget coilovers, because I'll never know. But these were pretty expensive, but nothing crazy. Okay, so some things I struggled on when installing these. On the front driver side, the axle is shorter. You have to take the axle out of the hub, and so I assumed you had to do that as well on the passenger side. Turns out apparently you don't. However, I struggled a ton getting it out, and even more getting it back into the hub, and I could have avoided all that, which took like definitely an extra hour just fiddling with that. So don't take the axle out on the passenger side. As you already saw, you definitely don't want to over tighten your top mount like studs, or else you will just rip those right off. I was stupid about that and did that, but got some new ones that were only 10 bucks, so quick-ish fix. But if you set the ride height to equal lengths, front left and right and rear left and right, the car is not going to be like exactly equal, because like the car just, it doesn't weigh the same on both sides. Our transmission is on the driver's side, so the driver's side is definitely heavier, and when I had them all equal, you could tell that the driver's side was lower. So I went around just to every single corner and tried to get it exactly at, I was doing 3 3/4 from lip to fender. So I did, every coilover is at a different length, which online said was okay. That's what you had to do, so that's what we did. Being my first time installing these, I looked over the paper where it shows the top hat and which orientation it goes in the car, in the front, on the fronts. And I had those like the wrong way, which luckily I didn't really drive on it at all, but I installed those the wrong way. I had to go in there and undo the top bolts and drop the whole thing down and then twist the top mounts. For preload, I read the paper, the one I didn't look over, and it said it's already adjusted for the fronts from the factory. Well, it turns out it's not really. The boys on the Facebook group said that you got to do that yourself. So make sure you set the fronts, and you also want to set the rears. I'll leave a link in the description to a really useful YouTube video by, I can't remember his name, but I'll put it down there, that I watched, which really helped me set everything up correctly. So that's about it. If you're doing the install yourself and you have any troubles, feel free to ask any questions down in the comments. I will usually answer those like within the hour. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so I would really appreciate it. It's free for you and it helps me a lot. So look into that. And that's it. Peace out.